In this final video, we are going to talk about the strategy to compare fractions when there are no common denominators or numerators and the benchmark of 1/2 doesn't work. To compare the fractions, I must make equivalent fractions by finding common denominators and converting my original fractions. Then I can apply the rule from video 2 when fractions have the same denominator. The fraction with the larger numerator is greater. So you can see that here. It is important to note you can use this strategy anytime the denominators are not the same, but it might not always be the most efficient strategy. In this example, I'm going to show you how to make equivalent fractions by finding common denominators so that you can compare two fractions that do not have the same numerator, do not have the same denominator, and you can't really use 1/2 as a benchmark strategy. So the first example here is 4/10 and 2/8. The first step will be find the least common multiple for the denominators. So if I start with 10, I know that the multiples are 10, 20, 30, 40, and 50. Then the multiples of 8 are 8, 16, 24, 32, 40, and 48. So if I want the least common between them, I can see that it is 40. In step 2, I need to convert my fractions so that they share a common denominator. So I will convert 4/10 so that it has a denominator of 40. I multiplied 10 by 1, 2, 3, 4. So I also need to multiply 4 by 4, and I should get 16. Then I need to convert 2/8 to also having a denominator of 40. I multiplied 8 by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to get 40. So I must multiply 2 by 5, and I should get 10. So now I'm comparing 16 over 40 to 10 over 40. And they have the same denominator, so I can use the rule for when fractions have the same denominator, the fraction with the larger numerator is greater. So I can see that 16 is greater than 10. So 16/40 is greater than 10/40, which means in my original fraction, or my original problem, 4/10 is greater than 2/8. In this second example, again, I'm comparing two fractions that do not have the same denominator. They do not have the same numerator. They cannot easily be compared using the benchmark 1/2. And so I need to find common denominators and make equivalent fractions. So the first step is to find the least common multiple for 6 and 8. That would be 6, 12, 18, 24, and 30. The multiples of 8 are 8, 16, 24, 32, 40, and 48. I can see that the least common multiple that they have in common is 24. So now I need to do step 2, which is convert my fractions so that they have a common denominator. I multiplied 6 by 1, 2, 3, 4. So then I need to multiply 5 by 4 as well, and I should get 20. And then with 7/8, I multiplied 8 by 1, 2, 3. So 7 times 3 is 21. Now I need to compare 20 24ths to 21 24ths. They have the same denominator, so I can use the rule for when fractions have the same denominator, the fraction with the larger numerator is greater. 21 is more than 20. So in this original example, 5/6 is less than 7/8.
So to summarize, when comparing fractions that do not have a common numerator or denominator and using the benchmark of 1/2 doesn't work, make equivalent fractions by finding common denominators and making equivalent fractions. From there, you would apply the rule when fractions have the same denominator, the fraction with the larger numerator is greater.